Beautiful people. Man, what a journey. What an experience. What I said, what? Like, I want to get on here because I want to talk about this bad boy. It's called the boot. I know some of y'all know I fractured my toe. So I have been having to sit and be in stillness. Be in my still energy of just allowing things to flow. I just release control of a lot of things, like my daily schedule. What comes to my mind and heart of just importance is this experience really allowed me to see life through a different perspective. And I say that because when it first all happened, when I was injured, I did not have crutches, I did not have a boot. My aunt had to drive me to the hospital and I was unable to walk. It was just so painful. You know, I was holding it down, being a strong girl, but this strong girl couldn't take the pain. And my aunt had to get a wheelchair for me to be able to, navigate me around. First and foremost, I want to apologize to the people that have disabilities and for all the people that just look at you and stare at you because you may be in a wheelchair or have crutches or walk with a cane or a walker or have limitations, especially for those that may have a disability that you don't know or have you're going through something that is more internal than external for people to see, and they may have their own stories of how they may perceive you because of that. You know, I want to apologize to you because I feel like we have become a society of bonchincheras, I said it, gossipers, looking for the little bit of drama. Not everybody, but you turn on the news, you look at your social media, depending on the algorithm, you can definitely find some stuff in there that they would call juicy or want to keep up with the Joneses of what's happening in someone else's life because you don't want to talk about your own. And I just want to apologize about that because, we don't know what everybody's going through on a daily day, what they're struggling with, what they're facing, the hardship, just different stuff. And it's not fair to you. And I'm proud of you for being as resilient as you can and knowing that you are enough just the way you are, and all that extra stuff could go be extra over there. And that doesn't, how people decide to perceive you is not who you are. You define that. It's up to you. And doesn't matter whether you have a disability, whether it takes you whatever time frame it takes you to get things done, you're still fabulous. We as a community have to come together to realize that everyone won't look like us. And even though like we kind of know that, I feel like that, I think like just on a society level too, it's kind of like, okay, we get so accustomed about what is beautiful or acceptable or normal. When we do encounter something that isn't like normal, like what they classify as normal, it's like we stare or judge. And it's really lack of information, lack of understanding. And that's why I say, like, challenge your assumptions, ask questions. We have our phones, the beautiful internet, right, that we can Google and do our own research to better understand other people's life stories. And when we fully don't understand, if you have a good relationship, you could be able to sit down with them and be like, okay, talk to me so I can better understand you. And I think that's with a lot of topics and discussions that we have as human beings, really stems from us, the lack of information and being able to go into the situation with an open mind and open heart to be able to understand another perspective, because it's not always going to look like how we expect or how we would like it to be. And being able to come together and try to figure out how we can change it as a unit. And that's why offering compassion, offering grace, and listening, actively listening to understand, and being able to not involve your ego or emotions, to actually sit there and say, okay, well, this is a person coming, like having a safe space for them to come to you so you can gain that information, so you can work together for the greater good of us human beings. And, you know, I say that too because honestly speaking, as me being a human being, there was a lot of experiences or things that I've seen in my life that I didn't understand. And it took me actually being in those situations, and it took me actually being in those situations to understand, because now I'm in it. It's so easy to judge when you're not in it. It's so easy to say certain things when you're not in it, compared to when you're in it. Now you're in it, so now you're facing the similar challenges or obstacles like that other person, and now you get to see from their lens, their perspective, why it may have been more difficult for them to overcome or achieve certain things that maybe where you were at in your life you were able to do. And that's why it goes back to offering compassion. And I say that because I feel like when they talk about limitations or disabilities or ailments or just stuff along that line, it's supposed to look some type of way. A lot of people are very quick to criticize people that may look, what they say, quote unquote, healthy. And, you know, they just say, oh, well, you look healthy, so it can't be this, it can't be that, it can't be this, it can't be that. So just, you know, and there are people on this planet that suffer from limitations and a disability that you may not be able to see. And I'm not talking about mental, y'all. I'm not talking about that, even though we do have situations like that too. And it also goes back to offering compassion. I'm talking about maybe someone can't walk correctly because they have something going on with their spine or their nerves. Like you can't see their nerves. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there are so many things that we don't understand. And instead of criticizing and judging and expecting them to be perfect and expecting them to be a certain way and look a certain way and act a certain, all of these different things, you know, we all have stuff that we have to work through in our own journey. And it's like we wouldn't want somebody coming and judging and criticizing and just trying to crucify you for you just trying to exist and to be and to heal and to evolve. So I really say that that is super important. And I don't want these videos to be too long because I want to dabble into more of offering compassion and more of offering a safe space, because I want to talk about an experience that I have been facing since last year that a lot of people wouldn't even know. And, you know, just being in the experience of having to be in a wheelchair and everybody's looking at me like, you know, it's just like, wow, you feel like you just want to shrink because you can't walk and you can't do certain things that is considered normal. And that you shouldn't be looked at that way. You shouldn't be talked to a certain way because you have what they say as certain limitations or certain things. It's like we all have our superpowers, our purpose. We all have weaknesses. We all have strengths. We all have a purpose here. And even if they may not be able to do the same things as you, that doesn't mean that you should look down on them.